I have had such a great time creating these arrangements out of Gladiolus from our friends at Gladaway Gardens. It's just really fun to, from a creative aspect, to be able to take one type of flower and do so many different things with it. And so as I was reminiscing about it, I was just thinking about how when I had my flower shop back in Nebraska, we got a hamper of glads every week. We would get a hamper every week, mixed colored glads. We would always have glads in the house, and we would use them for all sorts of stuff. And one of my favorite things to do was to make an arrangement out of just glads. So many times we would make arrangements where we would use glads as the line flower and then other flowers on top, or we would use them for weddings and we'd make the gladiolus. But every once in a while we would have the opportunity, and maybe for a church, for a Sunday service or a special event that someone was going to have and their favorite flowers were glads, we would make an arrangement that was all gladiolus. And so it made me think about it. And so I dug out this white square container, and we're going to make just an arrangement of white glads. Okay, we're going to use a little bit of foliage in it. That's going to be great, but it's just going to be white glads. And I think that that's a really, really fun way to pay tribute to how awesome this flower is. Again, as we've spoke about it, you can watch the prep videos. We have a video where we made a topiary. We've got a video where I used some of my antique vases. We make a glamelia. There's so many different things that we can do with it. And so this is yet another one of those things that I wanted to do. And so we're going to start. We have the Smithers Oasis Midnight Foam. It's been soaked in Chrysal Professional 3. My Chrysal Professional 3 back here, because that's going to ensure that these flowers are going to open up. And I'm going to use my foam cutter here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this guy out so I can cut him evenly like that. And then I'm going to put it inside, back inside. Now, here's the thing about this too. Look at that. I want to have some room for water, but I want to have stability, and I wanted to have my foam fall below the level of the container. That's what's going to be key in making this all glad arrangement. And I'm also going to channel a little bit of my dad in this. My dad used to make these arrangements where everything came out of the container, and it was kind of like Mel style. That's what my dad would do. And so I'm going to kind of channel him as we create this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a couple more pieces of the foam, place them inside here to secure the foam in one spot. Okay. And I'm just going to cut off the tops. So again, the foam is below the water, or excuse me, below the lip of the container like that. Okay. And so that's good. All right. So we have that, and I'm going to make it on this. This is going to be a one-sided arrangement. Okay. So it's going to have some people might refer to it as the flat fan-shaped arrangement. Okay. I mean, I like that. That is American style of floristry. We are the ones who invented that symmetrical fan-shaped arrangement. That's where it came from. And it was so interesting when I traveled to Japan when I was a kid. My parents sent me over there to be classically trained. One of the things that they wanted me to do was do the flat fan-shaped arrangement for them, because they felt that it was quintessential American floristry, Western flower design. And they wanted to see how to create that symmetrical fan-shaped arrangement. And I think that's interesting because, we want to learn how to do Ikebana. We want to learn how to make the arrangements like Gregor Lurch makes in Germany. We want to learn all those things, and they wanted to learn about what we create. And this is one of those classic arrangements that we create. So hopefully you'll enjoy this. It'll be fun. And I have it on the turntable so that we'll be able to spin it around so you can see what's happening as we go along. Okay. So it works really, really well. In fact, you know what? I'm going to use, because of this, I am going to use one more piece of foam, and I'm just going to take it like this, and I'm going to tuck it in back here, and I'm going to tuck one in the front too. Because what I don't want to happen with this is I want to have great stability inside here, and because it is below the lip of the container, it doesn't do me any good to run a crisscross of tape. I was always fascinated when I would see people who would cut their foam like this and then run a crisscross of tape. I don't know what that's going to do. I'm not going to do anything, okay? But this way, this is going to keep my foam from shifting around when I'm using these big stems, okay? So we are going to start with, and I just need a really pretty, oh, look at this guy, front and center, okay? This is going to be my central vertical axis, okay? The central vertical axis for my fan-shaped arrangement. And so that is going to go here. And so look, it's in the back of the container. Can you see that? Can you see where that's at in the back of the container? It's not at the front, okay? It's to the back. It's on the back side back here. And then we are going to add another glad. And let's see if I can keep my glad stems in the trash can. That will be an awesome thing, right? So now I'm going to come here, and this one is going to be off to the side. And again, the other thing I want you to notice about this is that as I'm adding these flowers in, I'm leaving space, I'm leaving foam space in between them so that my stems are not right next to one another, touching each other inside the foam, because that wouldn't be good. Because what would happen is I would degenerate the foam as I'm working with it, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so then I'm going to come back here, and I like that my turntable turns around while I'm working on it. I don't know how to fix that, but you know, it's fun. Now you're going to notice the reason I wanted to work on the turntable though is I'm going to spin this for you. So see how these are not falling on the same plane, although when you look at them, they are going to create that symmetrical triangle, but they don't fall on the same plane because that gives depth to the arrangement. Okay, and this is just kind of classic floristry from a retail flower shop. Okay, and so we're adding our flowers as we go along. There's a video online of me and my dad arranging flowers together, and I'm so happy that I did it because it allowed me the opportunity to take my film crew to Nebraska and be in the flower shop that I was in as a kid. And it gave me an opportunity to create flowers with my dad. My dad and I used to stand next to each other and create flowers all the time. And it was just a wonderful little walk down memory lane because we hadn't done that for years. So see, this is where we're at right now. Look at that. This is looking great. Now, if I was going to do an asymmetrical arrangement, I would have all this off this side. Then I could finish this up over here and I wouldn't have to worry about it. And then I'd have that asymmetrical arrangement. We're going to try and make it symmetrical. Okay. So the reason I started telling the story about my dad was he started to arrange that day, and he said to my mom, because my dad had Alzheimer's, and so he had started to have some dementia, and that was at the very first onset of it that we had that we did that filming with him. And he said, "What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to arrange like him?" And I overheard my dad, and I said, "No, I want you to do whatever it is. I want you to do it how you wanted to do it." And what was so amazing about the process was that as I watched him arrange, there was no dementia, there was no Alzheimer's. He was just arranging the flowers, and you can see it on his face in the video. It's really fun to watch. So if you go to ubloom.com and you just type in Mel Schwanke, you'll get that one, or Jay's dad or something like that. And he made a beautiful arrangement that day. It was prettier than mine. It was awesome. And of course he did, you know, and it that's just those things that you're really happy that you did. And, there were times when I thought, why are we dragging the film crew to Nebraska? Why are we going to do this? But it was so worthwhile because we got that opportunity to design together. We also did some fun stuff. I took them down in the coal chute where I had to scoop coal every night, because the house that we had was a coal furnace house, and I had to fill the hopper twice every day. And when I moved out of the house, my parents put in a gas furnace because they didn't have a free coal boy anymore to fill the coal bin and the coal chute every night. But the one thing I will say, all the greenhouses were heated by coal, so it made sense to heat the house by coal too. And there is nothing like coal heat. I will just tell you that. Coal heat is the warmest heat you will ever have in your home. So, but, it's not environmentally sound, but it's interesting. Okay, so I love this arrangement already because it's just, look at that. Look at how pretty that is. And we lost, when people say, when I think of glads, I think they're funeral flowers. They said that about carnations too. And look where we're at with carnations today. Okay, we're putting carnations in everything, and we're using carnations all the time for all sorts of stuff. And so I think we need to think that way about our gladiolus too. That glads are for anytime, all the time. Bonnie, I'm sure you would agree. My friend Bonnie at Gladaway, who sent me these glads, that we should have glads all the time. I love it. The other thing about my dad that I will tell you is my dad could get more flowers in a block of Oasis foam than anybody else I knew. He could get more flowers in there all the time. He'd just be like, oh, I'll add one more. Oh, I could add another one. He'd get more carnations in a casket saddle than anybody ever knew. I think I need one more right there. Yeah. I'm going to show you in a second. Sorry, I know you're looking at the back of the arrangement right this second. Okay. But there, look at that. It's just like, it's like an explosion of white blooms. Isn't that pretty? I mean, it's just like, oh my gosh, that's fantastic. And so I think we're going to add a little bit of foliage here. And I think the perfect foliage for this is this variegated pittosporum. And this is for my friends at Fern Trust. And I think I'm just going to use a little bit of variegated pittosporum because, and it smells so good. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. Just so fragrant. You know what? I want that piece right there. And then this piece is going to go right in here from the back side. I think, oh, you know what? See, I feel like, right here where I can see you. See where I can see you? I want one more glad in there. I want one more glad like right about there. That's going to be perfect. Okay. So let's go right in. There. There we go. Maybe I am going to use a couple pieces of leather leaf. I love the apical dominance of that Florida fern. I think it's just so beautiful and so pretty. Looks so good. It's so soft. Look at that. That's what it needed. Just that little touch or two of foliage. I have 2 pieces of ruscus here too. Perfect. There we go. Ta-da! How fun is that? And how pretty would that be, you know, at the front of a church or out in a garden party if you were going to do that, or if you had a couple of these up in the front for a wedding, just 2 of these on the side in stately white. Wouldn't that be really pretty? I think that's just so lovely. Here, I'm going to set him down here. We'll pull that guy off of there. There we go. See, there's always one glad stem hanging around a little bit more. Pretty. I love that. So, asymmetrical, flat. It's not so flat. See, look at this. It's not flat. Asymmetrical, fan-shaped Western style arrangement using beautiful gladiolas from Gladway Gardens.